Hello and welcome to my next video guide, which will be on Singed. Singed is one of my favorite champions. He's just a lot of fun. He has everything someone can ask for: damage, engage, CC, um, a lot of movement speed. I mean, he's just a lot of fun to play with, in my personal opinion. And as you may see right here, I've actually hit Challenger for Season 4. I played a lot of Singed this season. I played a lot of other champions as well, but Singed was just too much fun for me to not play him to get to Challenger this season. You have a 71% win rate over here. I've actually hit number 1 Singed. I might be hovering between 1 and 2 right now just because I haven't played today. Nope, I'm actually still number 1 Singed right now. And that will be my credentials right there. So first, a new step for this video is that I will talk a little bit about his abilities and some tips and tricks. So Singed, his passive is the Noxious Slipstream. So how this passive works is that when you walk next to a champion, whether enemy or ally, you get a bit of a movement speed boost. This is really great for just moving around the map, starting an engage, or just a lot of things like being able to just move really fast throughout a team. I'm saying like a team fight, there's 9 people in the enemy team or 9 people in the team fight. You can just walk through all of them. You go super fast. You're just zooming through all of them. It's a lot of fun. So it does stack with different champions and is one of your primary helps with engaging onto enemy teams and to just move through the enemy team. So like during a team fight, generally you'll be just moving around the fight a lot. You don't really want to stay in one place for too long unless they are busy attacking your teammates. Next is the poison trail. This leaves a trail of gas behind you. I mean, self-explanatory. It just leaves gas behind you and poisons them if they stay in your gas or even touch it. So oftentimes during laning phase, it's good to know not to just leave it on. Sometimes you just want to leave a burst of it. So you want to tap your poison ability and then turn it off afterwards just to leave a little bit of poison gas in the area around the minions. So if they try to approach, they just get poisoned and take a bit of extra damage. So it's just a really strong ability. Next is the Mega Adhesive. This is one of your bread and butter skills along with your fling. This is very strong. One of the best abilities in the game. One of the most annoying for the enemies to play against. How it works is that you toss a sticky goo onto the ground and anyone in it is basically grounded. When you are grounded, that means that they cannot use any movement ability skills or spells, meaning that they cannot flash out, they cannot dash out, they cannot do anything. They have to slowly walk out. So this is a very strong CC for a high high mobility meta right now with like Zed or Katarina. Like everyone, all of those champions that require blinks and dashes, they cannot move out of it and seals some of their skills. So you generally want to use this either in front of them or on top of them. And then if you do land it on top of them, you want to keep them there for as long as possible. So what this means is that maybe you don't exactly want to fling them off immediately. You want to just let them stay in that goo for as long as possible to seal their skills. So it's a very strong skills. Next is Fling, his other bread and butter. This is his primary engage tool. This is one of the best CC in the game because it's a point and click. What's the word? Fling. So basically, how it works are hard CC, as in once you fling them, no tenacity is going to help them. They're just pulled back behind you. So generally, one thing to keep in mind about fling is that you can fling enemy champions over walls, so this helps with either escaping or tossing them into your team. Generally, there's for team fights 2 things you want to do with fling: either to fling them into your team and have your team kill them, or to fling a carry champion off of your carry champions and give them some breathing space so that they can do damage. So you either use it as an engage or peel tool, so a little bit of versatility with this fling. Honestly, the fling and the goo are what's going to make or break a Singed, whether or not you're a good or bad Singed. And his ultimate is just a bundle of stats. Ability power, tankiness, movement speed, regen, everything that a Singed needs. I mean, nothing else to really say about this. One particular note is that the extra ability power does help with taking towers. Oftentimes, whenever I'm by myself and I'm split pushing and I can take a tower for free, I'll pop my ultimate and use my ultimate to hit the tower, just get it down as fast as possible. That is a viable way to use the ultimate, considering that the ultimate is actually on a shorter cooldown. So because if you look at the ultimate, it lasts for 25 seconds. The actual cooldown is, even though it shows 80 seconds, it's really only like 55 seconds, because otherwise it's active during that period of time. So the actual amount of time your ultimate is on cooldown is pretty short. So just use it freely. Use it to either take a tower or just before a team fight starts. Don't feel like you need to hold on to your ultimate. Use it freely. Alright, so that's a rundown of his abilities and some ideas about how to use his abilities. I will be going over gameplay after the item and build section, so you'll be seeing everything that I've said in practice. Next up is looking at his item builds. So there's two really builds you can go with Singed. Either full AP, as you can see here, or the traditional AP into tank. First I'll do this one. This is the one that I primarily used to climb with. So you always want to start with Rylai's. A lot of people will say, "Oh, why don't you get Rod of Ages first?" I feel like Rod of Ages, while it's like a good bundle of stats, it kind of distracts from your core items that allow you to do your Singed things. So I personally don't like getting Rod of Ages. By the time that you can get Rod of Ages, it would take too long, and I don't want to get it early. Getting that Rylai's first is really important level at the beginning of the game, because by the time the first dragon or herald spawns, you should have enough for Rylai's, and that should basically be a big impact in fights, is having that perma slow in that early team fight. After that, Leandry is the next choice. I mean, it just synergizes well with poison, creates a long-lasting tick of damage. Oftentimes, I'll switch between getting boots or the Leandry, depending on what I'm going against. Of course, based on the enemy team, you want to go armor boots or tenacity boots. Nothing much to be said there. If you do have questions about that, just ask in the comments below. I actually like Stoneplate more with this build. This allows you to be more tanky. You don't really need extra movement speed with this build. This just allows you to go through the enemy team, be that tanky force of nature, and stay in the fight really. Primarily, I like to use this build if I'm the main tank and everyone else are carries or yeah, for the most part carries. So if I'm the main tank in the team, this is when I go the Stoneplate tank build. Dead Man's is very good for Singed. It gives him extra movement speed. One thing to note is that with this build, you want to avoid auto attacking when you can until you get into the actual team fight, just because this does give you a lot of movement speed and does allow you to travel around the map faster. Force of Nature is just the next obvious choice. More magic resist, more movement speed. And the last item doesn't really matter. Abyssal Mask if you have an AP mid. If not, you can just build whatever. Zeke's or anything. It doesn't really matter. You shouldn't really normally have 6 items. So that's the tanky item set. The runes will be the same for both. Aftershock, Weakness, the Hunter's Titan, and Sweet Tooth. Aftershock just for your fling. Gives you that extra little bit of damage and tank. Weakness. The reason Weakness is very good is because impairing the movement of enemy champions include Rylai's. So you're basically always going to be proccing Weakness and making your team do more damage to the entire enemy team, as well as doing more damage to them. So Weakness is very good with Singed. Next is Hunter Titan, just more tenacity. You should be a part of a lot of fights, so this will be easy to stack up. The only times maybe that you wouldn't want Hunter Titan is if you want, if you're against a really bad matchup, you can get Second Wind or Bone Plating, like against a Fiora or Jace. But generally, like Hunter Titan is the safe choice, really. The only time you wouldn't want to get Hunter Titan is if they have like no CC at all. Then in that case, just get Adaptive Carapace or the other two that I mentioned. And I always like Sweet Tooth. You're going to be harassed quite a bit in laning phase, but this will give you a bit of health, get you a lot of gold, and you should be moving around the map a lot to get these honey fruits. So the gold does build up over time. And last but not least, Ghost and Flash. I love Ghost and Flash. A lot of people say, oh, why are you getting both summoner spells? It's a little bit overkill. I really like just having a lot of mobility. It lets you make a lot of plays. Ghost is on a very short cooldown in Wild Rift. It's only 90 seconds. I often just use Ghost off cooldown just to either get the turret even if I don't feel like a team fight is going to happen soon, or just I use it early to the moment I see someone to look for an engage. Like, use Ghost off cooldown. Don't be shy about using Ghost. Ghost is a very good ability with Singed, and it's on a very short cooldown. Like relative to Flash, which is on a 150-second cooldown, you still want to use Flash a lot. I mean, but of course, with the combination of Ghost and Flash, like use both whenever you do see the option for an engage. Alright, so that's the tanky Singed build. Next is a full AP build. I mean, the only difference is instead of Stone Plate, you get Proto Belt, and then you just go full AP, Infinity Orb, Death Cap, Void Staff. The Proto Belt is just used to really do heavy engages onto the enemy team. You do a lot of burst damage, and you should just always get onto their carries with this Proto Belt. This is more like an Assassin Singe, so you want to just go in, fling, poison, and then run out and wait until your fling is off cooldown again until the next opportunity to come in back with your poison and do more damage. So with this build, you need to play a lot more safer, and you can't quite stay in the same tank role that you can with the other build. But this is still solid. You do a lot of damage with this build, and it does actually do quite a bit of damage against AP or against a squishy carry. And that is my item build. So I will be moving on to the actual gameplay. So the number one thing, I skipped this in Champion Select, that I do is to tell everybody to follow me level 1. As Singed, I'm always going to look for an invade. Always with Ghost and Flash, I have enough summer spells to look for an invade. I'll tell everybody, hey, follow me level 1. I'll say that in Champion Select. Sometimes I say it after the chat. But basically, we just look for a pick here. The moment anyone shows up, I go for a fling and we just look for kills. And it looks like we managed to get this kill secured. And then we just go back to our lanes. I'll always look for a level 1 invade. Generally, I like to do it at the bush on Dragon side. So on red side, it's as you see, I went towards their Raptors. If we were on blue side, I would be going the route towards their blue buff. But it just depends on where I feel like I'll find a fling. So we get a kill on Rakan, and they get another kill on Rakan. So here for laning phase, I'm just doing a short trade. Get my honey fruit, get healed up from that trade, and here, right now, the fight is in the perfect state. It was in front of my tower. Rin tries to harass me a little bit more, disrespected the fling, and I get a kill. So the ideal wave state to keep the wave at when you're playing Singed is in front of the tower. You want to basically always be in range to fling them into tower so that they can take aggro. This should be basically a 2v1 lane, or it should feel like a 2v1 lane against the Riven. You and the tower versus the Riven. Because I wanted Riven to miss a couple bit of CS, I decided to stay in lane. A little bit of a mistake, but it works out. I need to push this wave out because the wave is going to push back to Riven, and Riven can potentially freeze it. So I'm just doing my best to get a poison cloud on that minion wave. Get out as soon as I could, and we just reset right here. So Riven is forced to go back to tower, get a honey fruit. The wave that was there should be crashing at her tower, and it should push back towards me. So right here, I could be looking to invade, to actually roam to Dragon side right now, assuming Riven is holding the wave at her tower. Just because the best time to roam is when you are before Dragon Herald spawns, because even if they push it to your tower, at most you'll miss a minion wave. They can't actually take any plating off. So right on your first back, if you recall, before Dragon Herald, before it spawns, that's the best time to roam around the map. So right now the wave is pushing towards me. I'm just using the poison cloud on my minion wave, not really trying to use it on the enemy on their minion wave so that it stays pushing towards me. I like to just use the minion wave on my minion wave, or my poison on my minion wave, so that whenever they try to last it, they take a bit of damage. So here, I can't exactly freeze this. Too many minions. I'll get chunked too low. I ping to make sure that Evelyn knows that Riven's flash is down. I have a feeling that Riven went back to base, so I'm just trying to push this out so that I can recall for the first Dragon Herald. Generally, like the best time to recall for Dragon Herald is when you either have your first item or just generally like 30 seconds before Dragon Herald spawns. You want to go recall so that you can move on the map and make plays from there. So I have my Rylai's, pretty early Rylai's. Usually I get it a little bit later. Like after one more wave. But because I have an early Rylai's, I got the recall early, and we can contest any objective that they fight at. Right now, I tell my team, hey, let's contest an objective. I'm really strong right now. Our entire team is strong. We should win a team fight. So I just want us to make sure that we're fighting for an objective. So here, a fight breaks out, and we basically just take on the fight. We get a kill. I keep putting my poison on the map. We get this Riven as well. And second kill. Put this goo on the Ari so that they can't flash away. They're stuck in there and they just die. And we win the team fight. And we just get the objective. I'm going to come here to shove out bot lane real quick. They don't really need my help for this. I shouldn't be here. I should be pushing out bot lane right now so I can recall and then go to Dragon right now. But nevertheless, I do help with Dragon or with Herald, and I do end up getting the Herald, so I can start making plays with that Herald. But it was a misplay on my part. I should have went bottom to push that wave. Now Riven can push onto my tower, and they should get that tower for free. Or not for free, but I do come up for this Dragon to try to stop them, try to get some kills here. As you can see, I pop my ghost just to get there a little bit faster, but I don't get there in time. But we at least pick up a kill, and because we have a numbers advantage now that they're down in 80 carry, Riven is bottom. Kha'Zix their Kha'Zix is dead. The 80 carry went top. We just popped this Herald mid lane, and we should get this mid tower for free, or without really much contest. They don't really have the numbers advantage to stop us. I just go for a fling there, try to scare them off, use their abilities. We get a kill here, and we can take that Herald and that mid tower down. In the meantime, even though I lost bottom tower, this is huge for us. They had to send everybody to mid lane, and so that lets our Ashe push top for free, and we get 2 towers for that 1 bottom tower. This is generally why, as Baron lane, I really like to grab Herald, just because more than likely I'm going to know how to use the Herald to use it as effectively as possible. So now we're up 2 towers compared to their 1 tower, and I'm just shoving in the wave in bot lane. There's a fight that breaks out top lane. I want Irelia to help me take bottom tower right here, because they sent everybody to top lane, so they're fighting in top lane. We win the fight, and with Irelia's help, we can just make sure we secure this bot tower so that we can grab all their outer turrets. For me, getting the outer turrets is the most important thing about this game. Once you break all the outer turrets, you can start making plays on the map and fight without having to worry about them retreating back under a tower. So we share this gold, we get this tower, and now we're just farming. So a couple of things to note. It's always good to place deep wards into their jungle whenever you get a chance. If you can place it safely without getting harassed, put a ward in their deep jungle, and then you can start making plays. I put the goo right there to slow down the Ahri so that they can't use their ultimate right away, and it gives me time to catch up to them. So remember, goo is a great ability against champions that have dashes. This is a little bit greedy by me. Their entire team is coming for us. I get directly killed, but with the sweet honey fruit plant, I'm healthy enough to survive. We burn some flashes, and we just work on taking their jungle, or taking our jungle. Right now, there isn't much to play. Because we took their outer turrets, we can't really look for an inner turret right now. Especially with the Herald and objectives coming up. I basically tell my team, hey, just clear our jungle. All of our camps are up. At this point in the game, when all the towers are up, you want to just, or when all the outer turrets are down, you want to just focus on farming your jungles, farming your waves, and then if you can, look to farm their jungle. But aside from that, just wait for objectives or look for a pick. No need to like try to siege an inner turret. That's too dangerous. If you fail, you lose a lot of map pressure. So now we're all healthy. The Rakan and Riven are here to try to catch me, but I use my ultimate just in case. I see my teams coming, so here I just engage onto them. We catch the Riven, and now that they're down 1% in this team fight, we should win we should win the Herald fight. But unfortunately, our mid lane gets caught, so I go in. I try to make it a 2-4-2, kill the Ahri, and my team follows up. So unfortunately, it was like a 3-for-3 exchange. They used everything there. So we just heal up, and then we just fight for Dragon. Right now, because all the outer turrets are gone, Herald is not really that important for us. It may be important for them so that they can break our towers, but overall, like that, Herald isn't really going to win us the game or anything. So we just fight, get this Dragon, let us scale up a little bit better, and then we can fight for Herald afterwards. So they look to engage on us. I'm coming in. I pop my ghost so that I can get to the fight faster. Like I don't even need to be a part of the fight at the beginning to use ghosts. Just use it to get to the fight faster. Get the fling onto the enemy carry. And we just do this fight right here. Just make sure my poison is constantly proccing. Fling the Kha'Zix so that he can't reach the Ashe, or at least, or not, it won't be in melee range of the Ashe, so that Ashe can have some breathing space to auto attack, and we get Dragon right here. So next up, we fight for Herald. Ashe should heal right here, but Ashe wants to shove out top wave, which isn't bad. This makes it so that our outer turrets for top tower is safe, and they can't really make a play on our top tower without being delayed. And because Rakan went up top to try to catch the Ashe, this is a free Herald. They're definitely not going to come contest this. And I just look for this Ahri right here. I just know that my goo will make it so that they're forced to go in one direction. And we try to make a play here, but I mean, Ahri is slippery. If I don't get my fling off immediately or any CC, they're just going to get out. So we pop Herald mid here. I wouldn't agree with this Herald just because our Ashe is not with us, so it's just going to get a charge off, which is fine. Not the worst Herald. Using it on mid turrets is the most important thing you can do with Herald, really. Here we looked for this fight with Leona. I'm tanky. I can just go straight onto their carry. Fling them into our team. We just wipe them. So right now I'm using the AP build just because I'm so ahead. So I'm just, my job is to make sure the one of their carries dies, and then we just take towers. So we get this inner turret courtesy of that Herald, which helps do damage to it. Here I have to hover, so I'm hovering with my goo, make sure that they can't continue attacking us. And then we just try to retreat right here. But because Kha'Zix comes, we just go for a fling onto Kha'Zix and get him. And I keep using my goo as a disengage tool to make sure that if they do want to come at us, they have to walk around the goo or be at risk of being stuck and slowed. And with the Ash Arrow, they're trying to engage on mid lane. I move back to our team so that I can get a little bit of a movement speed boost, but and then as soon as I can, my flash is off cooldown. I use it to make sure I get the flip off, and we just keep running them down, keep chasing them down, make sure that they can't escape. Once the fact that they died right here, right before Baron spawns, means that we can do Baron right away. So I'm pinging Baron. We just stay in front of Baron, and if Kha'Zix tries to come in, I can be an excellent disengage for our team. So we just grab Baron here. Ribbons over in top lane. I see Kha'Zix in mid lane, so I know that the only way Kha'Zix can come to this Baron is through this hallway, but he is not going to come contest. I mean, there's no way. It would be a 2v5. It would just be suicide. And I tell my team that I'm going to split and then everyone should go mid. So oftentimes I'll just communicate what I want our team to do, and generally they'll listen if I'm in a carrying position. So I just shove out. The reason I want to be in the solo lane is because if they come, it's going to be difficult for them to really kill me. But at the same time, they do engage on our mid lane before our 4 mid got to mid. So it forces me to come down to mid to make sure that we can get some towers out of this and look for a kill. So I just go in. I just see the enemy team. I just flip the carry. I do want to keep pushing that top tower, so I'm low. I'm not really going to help much with sieging mid. So I'm just looking to push top lane here. We get dragon. We can't get inhibs right now, despite having Baron buff, just because our Ashe died early, and Ashe is one of the only champions that can really hit the tower safely. So I just make sure to keep empowering the minions. But wasn't paying attention to the map. I don't have my yellow trinket. I got sweepers for some reason, and so they all jump top to stop me from pushing that top wave. There is a bottom wave crashing right now, so I try to ping bottom turret to have them push that bottom turret, just because even with just Baron buff minions, it'll help break that tower. And they were all top. You can see that they're all mid lane right now, so we just get this turret and we recall. And you'll see when I'm dead, or if I have spare time to type, I'll just message my team about plans or things we can do. I tend to play on the cautious side. It's hard for me to trust my team sometimes, so if I'm not there, I'll try to tell them retreat. Be careful about overextending. But here, I just look for a pick. I see Rakan there, so I just want to get a kill as soon as we can see someone. And because their team is on mid lane, I look for a dive. This is a little bit dangerous, so I just need to get out. But my team cleans up. We make sure to kill the Riven. We're all relatively low, though. That was a bad engage on my part. That was just a greedy fight. We just look for Baron again. So what this means is that we just set up for the Baron. Now I'm already almost full items. I figured Lich Bane might be good here just because the extra AP for my ultimate and also Death Cap just gives me a lot of AP and extra damage. They aren't really building magic resist, so just more damage is the goal here. We should not be looking for a fight here. Just shove out the lanes, and in theory you can maybe look for a pick right here. I think Ashe used ultimate, but because of Kha'Zix's Edge of Night, it doesn't actually stun him. So we just walk back together, and then we can look for a fight at Baron Pit. I get a bit of health here. Kha'Zix jumps onto the Ashe, who's isolated. So this is pretty dangerous. They can actually win here if they get more kills. But Ari overextended. I fling her into my goose, so she gets actually rooted. And then we can just win the fight after that because their team is split apart. Nobody saw that fling. And so, while 3 of them are dead, we're a little bit low. We can't really do Baron buff just because our team doesn't have a strong Baron clear speed. So right now, we gotta just shove the waves, and then we can look forward to the next play, which should be Elder. Our Baron clear speed is not there without Ashe. So we just look for a fight before Elder Dragon. I'm thinking about pinging, but I mean, there's no point. In theory, they could like maybe look for a cheese play onto Baron Pit, but I don't think they're gonna look for Baron. They're still behind. They're kind of afraid of starting objectives. We're the main driving force behind these fights now. They have to react to us. So we just have to look for an engage here. I'm not here though. I mean, our team isn't there yet. If you look, Irelia and Ashe are still trailing behind. So I'm trying to tell Leona to run away, and I'm just popping my ult to make sure that we don't die here. I see that they're all there, so I get a good goo. It's in the middle of them. I just try to fling anybody into my team, and we just wipe them afterwards. So using goo in those choke points really can heavily change the course of a team fight, just because they have to play around the goo. And with that, we win the game. We ace them, and we can just run it down to the Nexus. And so that was my Singed gameplay. This was my day of getting the Challenger. Got MVP. And yep, I do the most damage on the team. And there we have it. So that is my Singed gameplay for my video guide. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask below. I do plan on making some separate more gameplay videos on my YouTube channel. Come check those out. I'll do some more Singed gameplay, and I'll do some other champions as well. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that jazz, and have a wonderful day.